Hello, loves. Oh, I'm so excited to be with you guys today and talk to you about manifesting. It's going to be so great. Um, gosh, you know, it was a little tricky to make this title stand out because that's the topic of the whole group, right? But I haven't spent a lot of time breaking down what manifesting really is. And I've noticed a lot of comments in the group where there's a lot of confusion about manifesting and some of those pieces. So I want to bring in some of those pieces today. I want to definitely help you guys to manifest the thriving business and marriage that you are made for, that you're made for, that I'm made for. This is our truth, right? So let's do this today. Definitely I would recommend having a pen and paper out, or you can always type into the comments, and I love to see what comes out of these sessions for you guys. So if you are watching, love to hear where you're watching from. Please that in the comments, and let's jump in today. So I hear from a lot of women in business. The general consensus that I glean from them is we're really often turned on more by our business than we are by our husbands. Anybody relate with that? It's not surprising, right? We are out in the world and we're crushing it. We are helping people. We are making money. We are breaking chains of our ancestry. And in a service-based business like I have, it's very easy to just fall into that because I feel at home when I'm serving people. I feel at home when people are reaching out to me and saying, what do I do in this or that situation? I love that. Sometimes I think I could just live on a steady diet of that every day, and it feels so good, right? So especially if our marriage, if we turn off our business and our marriage is not where we want it to be, it's like, oh, I changed my mind. I'm just gonna go back to work now, right? And what a slippery slope that can put us on. So this is the kind of thing that I'm speaking to today. When you are a woman in business and you speak in terms of business, we're going to relate your marriage to your business so that you can experience some success, greater success and possibilities in all avenues of your life. So I would love, if you're watching right now, I would love if you would put some manifesting strategies that you've heard over the years or that you've tried into the comments. Okay, so I want to see your strategies for manifesting, things that you've heard of, things that you've tried. We're talking things like visioning. Oh, hello, Dawn. Hi, Miriam. We're talking things like visioning, right? I'll list off a couple, and I'd love for you to share yours in the comments as well. It's so funny, like my mind is like blank. Come on, Melissa, all the things. There's like a million of them, which is why we're going here right now. Because I'm not going to sit here and teach you one tool, because you could go Google any tool on manifesting that you wanted and you could learn how to do it. So I think that we're missing the point when we're getting hung up on the tool or strategy, right? So let's just get them out of the way. Vision boards, right? Positive affirmations. Goal setting is a form of manifesting. What else? What else do you guys have? So I'm going to share a story. And as I share this story, again, just list these out in the comments, different strategies for manifesting that you have used or that you know of, that you've tried, that you've seen other people try. I have a kind of a fun experience with manifesting that I'll share as you guys compile those. So when I was like 25 or something, I had just learned about manifesting, and I learned about this thing called Ideal Life Vision. Anyone watching ever, or if you're watching the replay, ever heard of Ideal Life Vision? It's really cool. I still have one. I just recreated one for this year, and I really like Ideal Life Vision. But basically what you do is you write out exactly how something goes, and you write it as if it's happening now. And then you record it to Baroque music. There's all the science about that. And then you listen to it every day, right? So I was pregnant with my third child, and I had a really clear picture of how I wanted that to go. I sat down, wrote it all out, down to details, right? Like down to how I was feeling in the labor and delivery, how the essential oils that were used, the songs that were played, like, and then I listened to that for my whole entire pregnancy with the birth of my third child. And I wanted, one of the main reasons I did this was I wanted the labor to go faster. I'd already had 2 kids. I wanted the labor to go faster. And so I did this, and I listened to this vision my whole entire pregnancy. And you know what was crazy is my birth went exactly the way that I envisioned it in this vision. Down to the amount of time it took from start to finish, everything. It went exactly the way that I envisioned it. And you know, that I think was my first time. Oh, there we go. My computer froze for a second. I think that was my first experience with manifesting where I was like, wait, this stuff is real. This is like, I don't know what just happened. And my masculine brain wanted to like logic it away, right? Like, well, of course, you know, I already had the essential oils prepared. I already had like the songs on cue and in a playlist, and I, you know, some of these different things. And that was definitely part of it because I knew what I wanted. I was able to prepare for it. But some of the pieces about the timing and how fast my body was able to push that baby out, I couldn't control that if I wanted to. So that was the first seed. So I'd love again to hear, what are your guys' strategies? Let's see if I can get my comments to load. Oh, hi, Karen. Thanks for watching. Yeah, what are the strategies that you have utilized in your business for manifesting? Gratitude journal, love that one. Letters to self, and on, right? Yeah, it really is. There's this whole feminine piece, right? So after that experience, you guys, I decided to go into, what was it? Because I did 2 multi-level marketing things. I think it was doTERRA. I started with doTERRA. And I was like, okay, I get it now. Like, I'm going to test this thing out. And I made a vision board. You know, that's where you put all the pictures up of how you visualize your life to be and stuff. And then that was pretty much the extent. I didn't do a whole lot in that business. I just thought maybe I could just manifest it like I did with my body. Maybe I could just put this out there and everything's just going to fall into place, right? I don't know. I don't know what I expected. Clients to just show up knocking on my door, you know, people who were interested in, because when you're doing a direct sales business like that, you not only want people to buy the product, but you also want other business builders to sign up with you, right? And so I would only do the things that were fun to me. And then I would look at my vision board and listen to all the positive things, you know, listening to speakers like Tony Robbins and Tiffany Peterson is one that I still love and follow her. And some of these people who are there constantly reminding you of who you are and your worth and all that stuff. That's another great manifesting tool. And I just did those things. And do you think I had very much success? No, I didn't. Obviously, we know that in business, if you're going to have a successful business, you need both pieces. And why is that, my friends? Manifesting is feminine. All those things are super feminine. And then the strategies and the actual actions that you're going to take in your business to make it into what you want it to be, those are the masculine. And you need both. You have to have both. You're not going to have a successful business just by creating a vision board and staring at it every day. I mean, I just am laughing at myself because I super did that, you know? Anyways, okay, so we need both components, and then we know, then there's evidence that we have a thriving business, right? So what are some of those evidences of a thriving business? Those moments when you feel super full inside of yourself because you know you've really helped someone. You were so present with them. You helped them to see whatever it was that they were missing, or you help to sell them on this thing that you know will benefit their life, right? And we do these things. Maybe as you were in your manifesting and then your strategy, you set up a revenue goal, right? So, you know, maybe your revenue goal, your first month, you want to make 5K. And so you write 5K all over your house, all over in places where you'll see it all the time, because that's your way of manifesting and calling that in. Or maybe you have a certain number of clientele that you want to work with, or a certain number of sales you want to make. And so you make a number. I was looking for it before this started and I wasn't able to find it, but I posted this a couple of years ago when I first started as a coach. I was really hoping to find it. It's this cute drawing. I did this intuitive drawing thing with Cynthia Go. If you are ever interested in intuitive drawing, she is really cool and amazing person who has 7 kids, I think. So cool. So anyways, we did this intuitive drawing thing and I drew a picture of myself, big like a valley. I'm like this big, it's just my arms and my face with markers, like really, like it was very primitive. Drew this thing and then I drew, I think my goal at the time was like 6 women. I drew myself kind of like holding up these 6 women in the horizon. And there's a sunset and everything. And that was my goal for my first group coaching that I ever did. I was calling in my first 6 clients ever. And it makes me emotional. When I drew that picture, I felt like whatever that number was, it was somewhere between 6 and 10. It felt impossible. I think at the time I had 1 client. I had 1 and I was like, okay. And so I did that. That was my manifesting tool that I used. So we do some of these things, right? Maybe we set a certain number of clients or some of these things. And then what's the evidence that we succeeded? The evidence is, well, maybe I made my goal. Or maybe I didn't make my goal, but I got close to it and I got closer than I would have if I hadn't made the goal at all, right? And so we then have evidence that we do have a thriving business and we are finding some success. So how does this apply to marriage, my friends? There is a big old gap. These powerful women come in, they run these businesses, they're so savvy in these things, right? And you know you need both of these pieces. You need that vision and you need the strategy, and you need both, and you need them to be married, and you do that in your business. But here's what I hear from women all the time. They are out of balance because they go straight to strategy in their marriage all the time. So for instance, here's what I mean by that. For instance, he does something and it hurts her feelings. And the only thing she knows is strategy. So she turns to him and says something like, next time, why don't you talk about this instead of saying what you said? Okay, I'm just calling it out. Raise your hand if you've done it. I've done it. Raise your hand if you've done it. If you're too stuck on strategy in your marriage, or you're sitting there ruminating on this, one particular situation. Maybe it's as simple as he said he was going to finish these house repairs and he's just not doing it, right? So you come at him with strategies, all these strategies about what he could do, as if he has no brain. I know sometimes you think that, like, wait a minute, he said he was going to get this thing done and he's not doing it, right? So then we hit him with all these strategies, like maybe he can't think of how he could fit it into his busy schedule. Maybe he hasn't thought of the fact that he could do that instead of watching TV or whatever, right? Man, we are out of balance. We are in our masculine in our marriages, and it's really what is contributing to our discomfort in our marriage. So what is the cost? What is the cost of only coming at our spouse with strategy? Only coming at our spouse in the masculine. I had another woman share with me the other day that her husband literally said to her, you come at me like a man, and I don't like it, because when I respond to you the way I would respond to the men in my business, I hurt you and you don't like it. It never gets us anywhere. But I don't know how else to respond to you. I would say that's a pretty aware man, because that's the first time I've heard a man actually acknowledge that, or see that it's like that's what it feels like for him. He's like picking up on this imbalance with the masculine feminine, right? And so what really is that cost? Well, here's the thing. We want safety. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. We want to be a team. We want to be able to rely on, depend on this person we're in partnership with. But opposites always fall into play, right? So if we come in like a man, he's either going to fight with us or fall into the feminine roles. And that's where you start to get some of, these situations where it's like, I just wish my husband had a backbone, or I'm just not really turned on by him because he's like too nervous to even initiate, or we get some of these things. These are the cost, the results of when we show up over masculine in our marriages. And it makes sense, sisters. It really does. Why do we do this stuff? Well, for one, we're super successful in our businesses. But for two, we've also been taught, like throughout society, to show up this way. Progress is valued over anything else, right? Achievement, success, drive, all that stuff is valued over anything else. And really, it's great. It's gotten you places, but there's no balance for you. There's no opportunity to rest. Who can meet you when you're in that hard place and help, be that container for you? We get to choose to soften, and we get to choose to manifest. So circling back around, my friends, to manifesting. When was the last time you let yourself dream about what your marriage potential was? That hurts too bad. I don't do that. Are you kidding me? I just try to accept what I have, right? No. Would you say that in your business? Would you look at the potential? Would you look at your business right where it is right now? Say you're just starting out, right? You're just starting out with a brand new business and you're like, well, I've made $500. Would you look at that and then just go, I guess that's all the potential my business has. Just going to have to accept it. But we do that in our marriages. There's a lot of confusion. I don't speak this from a place of judgment. I hope you know that. I hope you're gaining value from this. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, okay? We wouldn't, but we do that in our marriage because well, I can't control him, or I've already tried. Yeah, we have tried to control him, haven't we? That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about you living in full possibilities in the romance that exists already in your marriage. So when was the last time you let yourself have a vision board about your intimacy? When was the last time that you spoke positive affirmations into your marriage, breathed that life into your marriage? When was the last time that you took the time to see your husband for who he really is, past his, TV watching, or past his too busy, too, caught up with work, too distracted by money, or whatever his weaknesses are, and actually remember who he is, or ask to see who he is, and hold space for that person that is in there. This is what the power of manifesting can do. Just like in our business, if we only came at our business with strategy, we end up frazzled and fried every time. Same thing with marriage. We've got plenty of strategies, we can Google anything, like whatever. We can do that. But how do we actually rest into the marriage that we want? So I'd love to hear your guys' comments. Hear your thoughts. What are you getting out of this? What is your takeaway? Alicia says, I have done that. I'm guessing some of the strategy piece there. Yeah. Gone in all strategies so many times. It's easier not, Colleen said, I know sometimes I've thought it's easier not to expect anything, then I won't be disappointed. Yeah, right? It's this heart protection. That's why we show up in our masculine anyway. It's like, I don't want to depend on any other masculine showing up for me. I'll just be the masculine. Yeah, I really relate with that. That's how I used to live constantly. And it's a practice for me, Oh, but you guys, when we allow ourselves to go into this believing place where we know who we are, where we know who our partner is, and we see that full potential of our marriage, and it's beautiful. Can you see it? That marriage, almost like it's a third person that we have to feed and nurture, that we get to feed and nurture, and it feeds us back and it nurtures us back. When we come into that space in our feminine, we go into some of those more subtle things like our desires, and we manifest, and we let the universe know what we really want out of this marriage, in that place of possibilities. When we fall into the feminine from this space, I promise you, there will be a masculine there to catch you. It might not be your husband, not yet. But there will be a masculine there to catch you. That masculine structure energy. Maybe it's God that catches you. Maybe it's the earth that catches you. But don't have to come at life so hard all the time, turned on all the time, progress, direction, focus all the time. Oh, take a deep breath. I hope that feels like a sigh of relief, my friends. That's the practice. We just did it, right? We just sat there and manifested. If you want to, go back, rewatch that portion, these last what, 2 minutes where my eyes were closed. Do that. Do it every day. Watch how it's going to change your life. If you know that this is what you want and you are ready to rest in the masculine that's all around you and stop feeling the need to be it 24/7, then reach out to me. I'd love to do a call with you and get you started in the right direction. All right, my friends.